Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. Shortly before the beginning of the pandemic, I was in New York. It would have been in January. And I was there to see some Broadway shows, but whenever I can, I went over to Trinity Church. It is magnificent. It's been there since the 1600s. In fact, the cemetery is even older. And I think it was built maybe like 70 some years after the Dutch settled New York. Um, so it is old. The land around it, the cemetery. In fact, Alexander Hamilton and his wife are buried right there, their son as well. Um, so it's old. It is old. There are additions. In fact, you should go to the website and read some of the history and then dive into more. Alexander Hamilton served on the vestry. There were um, the chapel. Of course, the inside is wired with electricity and all the comforts of modernity. Um, but the building itself and the land, it is all there. And you look around and it's Wall Street, right? It's everything is in fact um, the yeah it's everything is it's right there, um, and that is the finance district, which is kind of what Hamilton did. But it's all there. It's all these high rises all around, but you're standing in this space that goes back in time that has remained the same. It has remained the same. The buildings, the land, the cemetery, the things that that are a part of it, it's the same. But we were leaving on a Sunday, and so I got up really early to go to church, knowing that I wouldn't be able to stay because we'd have to go and catch a flight. But I wanted to go in. I wanted to feel that space, and I was really fortunate to go in when there was choir rehearsal going on before service, and people were milling in and coming in. Um, but in this space that is set in time, the choir director was there with his baby and his husband who was playing the piano. The choir was made up of young and old and black and white and rich and poor, and the people coming in looked that way. Some looked as if they didn't have homes, and some looked as if they could buy that whole district. With all that had remained the same, so much had evolved to know, to include, to welcome, to connect. People were connecting. Folks came over and spoke to me like, "Hi, how are you? And where are you from? Are you from the area?" It was welcoming and it was new. And it is the example, or it's a great illustration of what I say about conservative. There's two kinds of conservative. One says keep everything the same, keep it the same. And if they kept it the same, there'd be oil lamps. The other says keep it nice. And the conservative that says keep it nice means you can introduce all kinds of new things as long as it remains nice. I'm afraid that too much of our religion, it is still this Protestant ethic and the spirit of capitalism where we're not sure who's really saved, but we look at their finery and say, you must be among God's elect because you've got nice stuff. And we look down on poor people and say, you must have sinned, either you or your parents, because you don't have nice stuff, and it is not a sign of you being blessed. And so we insist on people working hard to prove that they're among the elect, while some sit back in luxury and just kind of look out and look down. Our religion has changed. This land that sits on what was the Queen's land grant and bought for a peppercorn, literally, has remained the same. And yet, the people inside have evolved to come closer, 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 closer to what Jesus meant when he asked the question, who's my family? Who's my people? I loved seeing that choir, that man with his husband and their child. I loved seeing a combination of folks that you wouldn't see anywhere else. And Trinity is radical. It is liberal, which simply means open-minded. And it is conservative, the kind that says, keep it nice. I love you.